First, I have such incredible respect for Bucknell and what Coach Davis does. I mean, that game, anytime I put it on the schedule, it's always a tough 48 hours because the weirdest things happen when Penn State plays Bucknell. It's 104th game, right? Wow, pretty amazing. And just the kid Toomer just got back from injury, and I knew that they had some really incredible firepower. So we definitely didn't take them lightly. I thought our defense in the second half was unbelievable. We did a really good job being in stances, really communicating, limiting them to one shot. I mean, they got a few, but they were dead ball. And then I thought Lamar Stevens showed why he's a candidate for Player of the Year and All-American. He really stepped up, and his energy, his effort, his enthusiasm really dominoed through the rest of the team. I want to give Jamari Wheeler a shout out. He was so banged up, hurt his elbow. He was laying on the couch at halftime. I was asking him, can he go? He said, Coach, I'm definitely going. I got to go. So he's got ice everywhere. He's got ice on his knees, on his hips. And I just look at him and say, hey, man, winning hurts. Winning hurts. But really, really impressed with our second 20 minutes.
Pat, what do you take out of the first half from your perspective defensively? They obviously moved the ball well, and it didn't look like you were moving quite quickly enough to cover that.
Yeah, I agree. They play with great pace and tempo, much like Georgetown did. And I felt like we were on our heels a little bit, and they definitely had the momentum. Fortunately, we have some firepower that we can score the basketball this year. And then we had to make some adjustments at halftime. Maybe do a little bit more switching than I would like, because I really want to stick with our foundation of our man-to-man. But we did some things to really disrupt, and I thought we communicated, and we just did a better job. Again, 4 days off, and it looked like we were a little bit rusty.
And can you talk about the efficiency of Mike's game in this game and the season so far? I mean, he's scoring a lot of points on very few shots.
So far, so good. You know, it's day to day. Mike's in a good space, and the goal was to get these guys the ball. We did that. We did that early. We did it often. If they were going to double them, we have three-point shooters out there. If they weren't going to double them, those guys had to have big games. And it's nice to see Mike and Lamar play well together. I don't think we've seen that. So very fortunate, and Mike's, again, he's doing exactly what we need him to do.
Pat, Rose just mentioned the four straight 80-point games start the season, the 58 points in the paint, the efficiency. So in your mind, what exactly through these first four games is clicking for the offense?
I think we're sharing the ball, we're understanding. Although we pounded it inside, I still think we're doing a really good job of moving the ball. To be able to score 45 in the first and 53 in the second shows the firepower that we have. I wouldn't say it was MJ's best game, right? Offensively, he did some other really fantastic things. But then you put Brock in the game and he gives you a spark. And you put Curtis in the game and he gives you a spark. And she was 3 for 3 in the first half. So that's the type of team we have right now. We can go deep into our bench and really get some production. But I think everybody's a willing passer right now and wanting to share the ball.
Pat, Lamar had a decent first half, 6 points, and then obviously went on that 8-0 run by himself to start the second. What kind of changed for him offensively, and was that the game plan moving into the second half?
Game plan was definitely working inside out, that's for sure. Coach Ferry and I met over the last couple of days. That's what we wanted to do. But I think it started on the defensive end for us. We were able to get some stops. He was able to get some space out there. I mean, we have incredible speed. I think that jumped off. That if that didn't show tonight, you got to come out and watch us again. I mean, I saw that versus Georgetown. I think Georgetown has incredible speed, but I think it was the defensive end. He was able to get some dunks, get himself going a little bit, got his teammates going.
Pat, so this is the second most points Penn State has actually scored in a game since in the last 10 seasons. So I wanted to ask you, what exactly has made this team feel so special to you to be able to produce like this early in the season already?
I do think we have a lot of talent. We have guys that can score inside, and we have guys who can really shoot the ball, and they put the work in. The connection that they have, I think, really shows out there the love and care that they have for one another. Again, I mean, that puts you in a better position. We're no longer an ISO team. We We had to go ISOs the last couple of years because that's what we had to do. But this year, I feel like when we're moving the basketball and everybody's getting in touch and putting pressure on the paint, good things are going to happen.
Pat, we talked a couple weeks ago about Lamar, shooting more outside. That's a big thing we've talked about over the season. Obviously, he dominated in the lane today, but he didn't take a shot outside the lane today. Is there like a reason not many 3-point opportunities came about for him?
He did take a fade away that him and I discussed. So he did take one outside the paint. Now, I think he took with the defense. I thought his pace was really, I thought he played at a nice pace offensively. I think he knew that he had an advantage, and we had to keep going to him. And I thought he made really good decisions and put himself in a positive situation. And that's what he's got to do. The fact that he had 27, didn't shoot free throws well, and didn't take a three just shows you what type of caliber player that Lamar is. And he's got to be okay with that too, right? It's okay not to shoot a three. It's okay. I know we've worked on it all summer. We worked on it our entire career, but it's okay. As long as you're producing.
Pat, there was a second half over here too, whatever side
Go
that
Biz.
is.
How you doing?
Good. There was a second half defensive possession that Bucknell, I think everybody on the floor touched it almost twice. It went around and back. They ended up scoring, but the defensive movement on that, there was a guy there every time that ball got to the next guy. How much of a possession like that is something that you kind of clip those 10 seconds and say, that's what we're looking for?
I know exactly the possession you're talking about. And that's where we should, everybody says we take the ball from one end to the other, and that shows our speed. There's no doubt about that. But we got the three-point shooters in that possession that you're talking about. Man, we were flying. Next guy up, next guy up, next guy up. And then 13 more hits a little fadeaway on Brockington, and it was like, But I applauded them in the next media timeout of, incredible job of just stepping up and being great teammates.
Did the defensive intensity change did you notice a big defensive intensity change from the first to the second half? It seemed like Bucknell got a couple off of made baskets, beating you guys down the court. And did you expect Bucknell to play at that high tempo pace?
Yeah, we absolutely did. In the scouting report, we have really pushes the ball and makes and misses. And we had to sprint back, and maybe we didn't get back fast enough, or we doubted how quickly they can get the ball up the floor. But we learned our lesson quickly, and we flipped the script on that. Bucknell's a good team, and they're well coached.
Coach right here. It seems that every time Jamari kind of comes in the game, the team just gets that extra defensive spark, that extra step on defense. Can you just kind of go through that and what he kind of means to the whole defensive scheme of the team?
Jamari's an incredible impact on our program, not just on the defensive end. I mean, did he get double digits? I thought he did, yeah. Did he get 10? He's 5 for 5 today. So, I mean, he's so crafty, so sneaky, and that's what we need him to do. But his leadership, how he impacts the entire game, not just the defensive end. I said it, I'm going to say it again. Everybody wants to tell me what he can't do. But let me tell you what he can do. He's a great leader. He sets the tone for this team with toughness. He sets the table on the offensive end, and he sets the tone on the defensive end. That's a special talent.
Just to build on that quickly, for the record, he limped off. Is he okay?
He's banged up. He's bruised.
But
he's tough.
Okay.
I could have put him back in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then also the buckets that he did get, is that something that you scout beforehand in terms of, I'm going to call them easy buckets, but I'm assuming it's much more challenging?
You know what? It's really our concepts. It's all about our motion and boomer concepts. As long as we're playing within the confines of our offense, I think he's got opportunities because they're more worried about 11 and 24 and the three-point shooters, and so that'll give him some advantages, like, he's not going to score, so I'll maybe take a break, and then he has a burst, and he just goes, and he has some really good layups, really good opportunities.
Pat, to follow up on what you said about, about Mike and Lamar playing together, what can you guys do to maybe get more, I don't know if the word's chemistry or synergy, but what can you do to kind of get more consistent performances out of those guys when they're on the floor together?
Keep giving them the ball. Really, it starts on the defensive end. I thought Lamar's defense, we didn't bring up, I thought Lamar's defense was so much better in the second half. I mean, he took it upon himself to really get in some stances and communicate a little bit more often. I thought Mike did the same thing. On the offensive end, those two need to be consistent and work well together, and we're doing that in practice. So I think that's where it starts. It starts in practice. They understand it. They're good friends, and then it leads to the floor.
Pat, to some of the fans who were booing that he didn't go for 100, what would your message be to them about sportsmanship and that
You
sort
know
of
what?
thing.
It's about respect for Coach Davis and Bucknell. I got incredible respect for them. I love his program. They're a winning program. They do things the right way. They're always fighting for a championship, and I didn't want to do that. You know, we had a comfortable lead. It's not the time to try to rub it in anybody's faces. And again, I'm friends with Coach, and that's what we want.
Coach, what do you make of just, you guys built that early lead in the first half, and then to see Bucknell kind of chip away at that a little bit, but taking that second half, what do you kind of take away from just that run? You guys went on a 17-2 run in the second half there to really pull away. What was kind of that message, and, what really led to that?
You know what? We can get a heck of a lot better, which is scary because we just scored 98 points, right? And we held a team to 28 in the second half. But we can get a heck of a lot better. We have to put two halves together. And I thought we did that against Georgetown. They scored 34 and 32 points per half. But we need to be doing that on a consistent basis. So, no doubt, second half, first 4 or 5 minutes was fantastic. We're going to watch that. We'll be positive about that. But we also got to watch the first half on where we didn't get it done. Because the great teams, that's what they do. They play an entire 40 minutes.
I'm going to go with Caleb, and then let's do one more, and we'll bring Lamar up.
Coach, this is somewhat of a generic question, but you guys have been putting up great numbers offensively, and as you mentioned, throughout this entire press conference of Jamari buying in and Mike buying in, Lamar, et cetera, how has the entire team kind of embraced this mentality of sharing the basketball, moving the ball, creating?
Yeah, I think they're enjoying it. I think they like it. I think Lamar likes it, so he doesn't have to shoulder all the pressure of scoring like he did last year. There's other guys out there that are more than capable. We got four or five guys shooting at a very good clip from three, and Mike's producing like we've been hoping he would. So I think that's a positive for our team moving forward.
Last question, if there is one.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
See you Saturday. Well, maybe not. Go Penn State football.